We as states, as republics, as colonies will have to get together again to reform that national government.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by ManchesterBrewing.com. ManchesterBrewing.com. Standing here with Scott from Milford, who has helped to start yet another liberty organization in New Hampshire. Tell me a little bit about it, Scott.
Well, this is what we call the 10th Amendment NewHampshire.org.
Is it 10th Amendment NH.org? Is that how you spell it?
NH.org, that's
okay.
right. And we're just taking up on the sentiment that we've seen in the state so far.
Federal government tries to keep the states in subjection.
And, of course, the 10th Amendment has to do with state sovereignty and would render impotent and unenforceable any federal mandate that's not included in the Constitution as part of the 17 enumerated powers.
What is your main goal as an organization?
Well, we'd like State of New Hampshire to adopt a resolution and sign into law a 10th Amendment resolution, and that, for instance, one of these freight train programs like mandatory socialized medicine would be up to the state.
What would you say is different between the bill that you're advocating and the one that came up in early 2009 that got so much attention but didn't quite pass, where they were sort of the sovereignty resolution?
Right, from Dan Itse. Well, Dan's a big supporter of this, but the sentiment has really changed, and I think the 9/12 project helped. You know, 1.5 million or 2 million people down in Washington, D.C., and these people were Democrats and Republicans and independents, libertarians, all kinds of people that were just fed up with government out of control. So the difference is the people are starting to awaken.
I understand that you are selling a coupon book to help the organization remain solvent and prosperous. It was actually put together by a prominent Ron Paul supporter in New Hampshire. And your website is already up and running, is that correct?
No, but it'll be up soon, and it'll be 10th Amendment NH.org.
Probably be up by the time this video is on the air, because I'm slow today. So.
Okay. Yeah. But the main purpose of that is to have individuals go to our site that are interested, and then they could click on a button and register, and that is put their signature on a petition. And with about 20,000 signatures from New Hampshire residents, that will be enough to get attention in Concord in the House and Senate and get our governor to sign this resolution, binding resolution.
And is there any work to get this already on the agenda for the 2010 session, or?
Well, we're talking to a couple of legislators and some policy advocacy groups.
Didn't the deadline already pass for submitting bills this year, or something like that?
That may be, but you know, the power of the people will come to bear.
Yeah, and I think there's actually more than one chance to do this. So I've certainly seen bills come up, I think, later. But anyway, any other thoughts that you have, Scott, with regard to?
Well, of course, I'm not an expert at public policy, but I just sense, and as many people do, that the time for change is now. And it's up to each individual citizen to take part in it.
Oh, and you had some thoughts that I thought were pretty cogent the other day, even though you disagree with me maybe, on whether or not the United States is headed for collapse. And you tend to feel like it's actually not. To me, the 10th Amendment issue is very closely connected with the collapse debate, because the idea would be if the United States were to collapse, that the states might become their own independent countries. But that's not a scenario that you see?
No, I mean the United States is strong. It's the largest, it's the most prosperous country on the planet, and it got that way because of individual entrepreneurial spirit and citizen power. And now we've delegated these powers to the government. It's not too far to come back to these fundamental powers, and that's all we're trying to do is shine the light on the Constitution. That document that made us the most prosperous and the most, freedom-loving country on the planet.
All right, Scott from Milford, thanks for your time and your effort putting this together.
Thanks, Dave.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by ManchesterBrewing.com. The Free Stater Brewery, located right here in beautiful New Hampshire. Try Manchester Brewing's Naughty Nancy. Naughty Nancy is a dark beer with the zing of citrus and a crispness that makes you say, whip me, beat me, make me write bad checks. Yellow. ManchesterBrewing.com.
ManchesterBrewing.com.